is $3,110. Total reimbursement for FY13 is the same number. What was budgeted, $67,000 plus reimbursement minus what we spent, leaves us with a balance of $67,812.50. The writing of this report, we had 1 juvenile on home detention, none in security detention, no active warrants, and no juveniles in placement in residential treatment. Any questions?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We appreciate you being here.
Thanks.
Let's move on to hospital financials, and we have to deal with an audit for the remainder of the county ownership. Mr. Porter?
What are we talking about now? The hospital?
The hospital financials, specifically the audit for the remainder of...
The audit for the remainder.
For the remainder of the... We've owned it for a month into this year, correct?
Right.
Well,
And then there's a final audit, right, that would have to be done.
oh, I guess it was Mike.
Yeah.
Mike.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Well, we just want to see if you were awake, Jeff. Obviously you're not.
George just kicked me under the table here.
A week ago today, Sandy Moore, who's the interim CFO at the hospital, called me. And she was inquiring as if the county would want to do or have done an audit, which would be a short, what they call a short period audit for the hospital. Their fiscal year, I think, begins July 1st. So it'd be from July 1 through today. That's the time frame that the county of Mercer had owned and operated the hospital from the time that Genesis purchased it. And I told her I felt it wasn't totally my call, so I got in touch with Jim Taylor from Carpentier Goddard, and him and I discussed it, and he had said that as far as the county having any financial liability, that type thing, that wouldn't really come into play. And throughout all the years that the county has had it, we have always had it as a separate entity, not generally as the county of Mercer, that we do, here at the jail, the courthouse, highway, that type thing. And in the letter of understanding in the audits, that was always put in there that the nursing home and the hospital were a separate unit. Okay. However, it was his opinion, and I concurred with him. Matter of fact, I said to him, I feel that perhaps one should be done. He had felt that one should probably be done. That way, if there were any financial liabilities in the future, while the hospital was owned and operated by the county of Mercer, that the county would not be liable for, say, a financial liability that could come probably down the road, maybe in a year or 2 years. Not immediately, it's, but if something were to come up like that way the county would be covered. So Sandy Moore and I talked on Wednesday, and she had informed me that if the county wants to have that done, that Genesis was not going to pay for it, which I can understand that. It would be the payment of that, and that audit would be the county of Mercer's responsibility. So that's what I have to report to you.
I guess in my mind, I go back and I look at the contract of the sale, and I don't, somewhere in that pile of stuff I have chronologically listed here, I could find it, but as far as liabilities, I mean, all the audit is basically gonna tell us is what the financial position is of the hospital as of probably 12/31, or if we know, it'd be 7 months, so it'd probably be through 1/31. I would think that contract, and Jeff, you've been a little bit closer to that than I have.
Bill, what? I think they assume all liabilities and everything upon closing the deal.
I'm not gonna say one way or the
Yeah,
other. I'm not a lawyer.
If we, I'm sure we need to talk to our legal counsel on that, but I am assuming that we wouldn't be responsible for anything, so they assume all the,
And really, all an audit's gonna do is tell us is what the financial condition
Yeah.
is, right, Mike? I mean, that's
Correct.
and we really don't care.
Right.
I mean, be honest about it.
Well, look, that was my knee-jerk reaction, but I wanted to hear what other board
Yeah.
members
What type
thought.
of financial liabilities would be there? I mean, it wouldn't be anything from Medicare or Medicaid.
Yeah,
because
that's already happening.
Yeah, that's
It's
already
already
been
happened.
completed. and-
Well, that's what Jim, when him and I talked on the phone, he did say, now you're gonna have to ask yourselves what financial liabilities are out there. And obviously, he says, you know, just.
What about a lawsuit? Did that come up?
Well, that's a different thing altogether, because that would deal with what type of insurance we have, either claims made or claims paid, depending on the type of policy we have. And there's a 2-year, from my understanding, there's a 2-year window in which we could go back, but we were covered. We were covered by insurance at those times, so if there was a lawsuit brought forward, the carrier that you had, that was enforced, would cover that.
I've got a little question here, and I'm not sure how it worked out because I haven't read the sale. We're paying the people correct right now through Genesis? I mean, or is Genesis picking up their weekly wage?
On
Or-
the
or-
transfer, then it transfers from us to Genesis.
So right now.
But now, yeah, we're liable up to tomorrow when the papers are signed and it's official. We're liable to that date on their wages, and after that date, Genesis takes over all responsibilities.
Okay, what I wanted to get clear was, Genesis is, putting and training their people, and I thought if they were accepting responsibility of the wages, that, it was said that they were charging, Mercer County 4 hours overtime pay for every employee that they taught on the computers to switch over to their system. I wanna make clear, were we footing the bill until tomorrow or whenever it passes through, or?
Well, the hospital itself, which is separate from the county general fund, it operates as a separate entity, so they were probably charging Mercer County Hospital.
Which in turn charges
No,
county.
no, because they're assuming all liabilities and all, accounts receivable with the hospital when they take possession of it.
Okay,
All the audit's gonna tell us is if it was done June 30th to, July 1 to June 30th, was that the fiscal year, Mike? Or was it a calendar fiscal year?
For the hospital.
Yeah.
They're July 1.
So it's a July 1 to June 30th, okay? I mean, again, I think all audit's gonna tell us is what the financial condition is, and we really don't care, do we?
No. It's not our responsibility
If it,
anymore.
I mean, if it was gonna be a requirement to have a final audit, we should have known about that before today.
Yeah.
Well,
That should have been part of the, that
that's kind of how I
should have been part
felt
of the
too.
sale, if that's what they.
And I don't think Genesis was that worried about it. They left all the books and everything.
And, you know,
before.
this is a sophisticated hospital system, so I would find it very, and now, the only thing an audit could do is it could turn up maybe some impropriety or something goofy may have happened, but again, who cares? Because it's Genesis' responsibility as of tomorrow. And if there's any type of lawsuit, Bill, it would go back to our carrier at the time, so, you know, again, I'm not a risk, expert, but, you know, to spend probably the 15 or 20 or more thousand to have something done that's really not gonna, matter, the way I see it, it would be foolish. But I certainly can be talked down from the ledge.
I kind of felt that way too when she called. Well, I thought this would have been discussed during all the negotiations that have been
Sure.
going on for several months.
Should be.
Then all of a sudden, well, exactly, and then all of a sudden she's wanting a yes or no answer pretty much right then from me. And I felt, well, that's not really my call to make. And, so
I think it's appropriate that you brought it to the board, so.
Exactly, and that's why I called Jim, and I just basically wanted to get Jim's opinion on just kind of the broad stroke question, really. I mean, you know, it wouldn't have been up to him whether the county should have had one or not either. I mean, it's just,
Right.
how do you feel about it? And of course, he's gonna give, I think, the
He's gonna be,
appropriate answer.
sure, he's gonna be conservative because.
Exactly, and so
I
there
think,
you have
I
it.
think our contract is probably pretty locked down. And if there's any lawsuit, Bill, I mean, really, that's your risk of, you know, somebody fell a year ago and, or something happened, and then you go back to your carrier, and if you recover and then it becomes a issue of your insurance.
There's already been discussion, I believe, about the carrier.
That's it, are you talking liability and liability?
Yeah.
Now, does the county have to buy a tail? Okay.
Well, somebody's buying it too.
It depends on, and that's probably a more appropriate discussion at this level. Did we have a claims made or a claims
yeah.
paid? Okay, because then, if you have, your,
Can I just
No, please-
interject?
please go right ahead.
Hospital does not have, we did not carry their liability insurance, we carried the nursing homes. And
right,
so they asked for a tail on the nursing homes. So,
for us to purchase.
uh-huh.
Okay, so it's already a moot point, we've already covered, but like I said, their contract probably buttoned down everything that we need to worry about. We've probably already paid for it.
That's why we pay for the lawyers,
Yeah.
for us.
So, I am, at this point, I don't think that it would be money that needs to be allocated. Because I don't think we're gonna learn anything that we already don't know, and we're getting a certain set amount, regardless if there was $1 million that somebody missed, that it's theirs, it isn't ours. And if somebody stole $1 million, you know, it's not our worry.
They need to go find
The only one who stole it is Genesis.
Well, we're gonna move on, Fred, with that comment.
So,
Okay.
And Mike, at this point, I don't think we need a motion, I think
exactly,
we've had adequate discussion.
yeah, I agree with that.
Nursing home financials,
There was none.
there was none,
I
of
think
course.
they've been very busy.
Okay, fine. Then we're gonna move to highway, and we have a vehicle sale.
Yeah, we had the former vehicle for the county engineer that drove, they put it up for a sealed bid auction. They had 2 sealed bids came in. We tossed the coin last night, and the winner was notified that he won the bid, $1,200. Which that money will go back into the highway department.
Kinda
I assume they bought,
help pay for that grader.
well, no, the grader's already paid for, we think.
Airport money taken.
Okay. Oh, well, all right.
But they're in need of other pieces of equipment also.
Thank you, Jeff. We have a couple of things we've got to deal with under law enforcement, and I know our sheriff is prepared to enlighten us with his wisdom.
I don't know whether it's wisdom or not. Call it what you want. Well, I got bad news and I got good news.
Do we get to pick which we want first?
No, I'm
or-
gonna go with the bad news because you
Okay.
got it first on the agenda. Cost of medical care for inmates is going up well, it depends on what contract. They've offered 2 proposals. One's a 1-year proposal that would increase 3.75%. The other is a 3-year proposal which would lock in the rate at did I say 3.5 or 3.75?
You said 375.
Okay, well, you're right, okay, all right. Then the second proposal is for a 3-year contract at 3.5%, which would remain the same through all 3 years.
So the longer we go out with them, the more they're willing to fix the rate.
Right.
How are the services, Sheriff, with what we received?
Excellent,
Okay.
excellent. The good news, which I'll get to in a minute, was that we met with some representatives from Cook County. They like the idea that currently the doctor that comes down actually is a physician's assistant, but he's a clinical psychologist, so he can handle any mental health issues that might come up